from Shadow Affairs. Nazis were given a bad name by you Jews in order to earn profit. Just see how Jewish Hollywood is earning money by selling Holocaust propaganda. You Jews were responsible for loss of jobs in Germany, and nearly all banking system in Germany were controlled by Jews. When Hitler got rid of you by deporting 3 million Jews to Palestine, 60,000 jobs were created for German citizens. Just see how Jewish lobby AIPAC controlling American policies. Jews equals money and war, unquote. You know, one of the aspects of being evil, of being an evil Nazi animal, like this person, like this beast, one of the aspects is that they try to reflect on others their own evil characteristics. This is a Nazi. He is saying Nazis were given a bad name. In other words, he's a Nazi. He's an admitted Nazi. And he says the Jews equal war. Jews equal war. The Jews are responsible for war. The Nazis are peaceful people. Hitler and the German Nazis openly said they're going to conquer the whole world and started a world war that murdered 50 million people. And he's saying the Jews represent war. In other words, look at this. Look at how they try to reflect on their victims. They try to reflect their own evil, monstrous behavior. He's looking in the mirror when he's attacking the Jews. When the things he makes up, the lies he makes up about the Jews are him and all of the animals that he deals with. The Nazis were given a bad name. The Nazis are good people, according to him. No, he thinks the Holocaust was a great idea. I mean, how vile and how evil can somebody get? How vile and how evil can somebody be? He's a Nazi and he's saying the Jews are for war. In other words, the Nazis are peace-loving. The Nazis and Hitler were peace-loving people. And now from Paul Bunn 77. Different Jews. The Ashkenazi Jew is not a true Jew. The original Jews have lived with Arabs forever, peacefully, without problems. But the European Jew is a troublemaker, and the Politburo was 50% Jewish. Fact. When communism dissolved, they tried to grab Russians' resource wealth and put Putin in as a puppet, but it all backfired and most fled overseas. The so-called Russian mafia are actually Russian Jews who replaced the Italian mafia as the most thieving and ruthless criminals, unquote. You know, again, this is someone who's telling us who is a real Jew and who is not a real Jew. This is someone who wouldn't know what a Jew is if he tripped over one. This is someone who knows nothing about Judaism, knows nothing about what makes someone a Jew, is a complete ignoramus, and is an evil, monstrous, Jew-hating enemy of God. And he's telling us what makes somebody a Jew and what doesn't make somebody a Jew. As if he understands the rules of Torah Judaism that define who is Jewish and who is not Jewish. Unbelievable. By the way, the Ashkenazi Jews he's talking about are Jews who lived in Europe, who were murdered, massacred, raped, and slaughtered by the millions for 2,000 years, when they contributed immeasurably to Europe. And they're the ones that made Europe the dominant continent in the world. Jewish brains and Jewish talent made Europe what Europe is. It was mostly Jewish brains and Jewish talent. And Europe is no longer the dominant country because those Jewish brains and Jewish talent wound up moving to America and made America the dominant superpower. And Russia became what Russia was because of Jewish brains and Jewish talent. And now that most of the Jews have left, Russia is going to pay a very heavy price and is not even a shadow of its former self. But anyway, some people never learn anything from history and are just doomed to burn in hell forever, which is what they deserve, because they're just evil enemies of God and just cruel, vicious, evil people who deserve whatever they get. And believe me, they're going to get everything that the Bible says that the enemies of the Jews are going to get. All of that will be coming, and they will get that, and they will get it for eternity. And now, from Mr. Don Vito 19, really pathetic how you ignore all the irrefutable proof of modern historical Zionist murder, terrorism, and duplicity of the highest Pharisaical order. Palestinians lived tribally there for thousands of years. You were saying they all of a sudden popped up in the 1900s. The more you lie, make side show issues, and twist the truth, the more people will cheer when you fall. Thank goodness Egypt will be opening its border eventually to help the brutalized people of Gaza, unquote. There are no Palestinians. The Arabs are all tribal people. They're primitive, hideous, tribal murderers who murder their own mothers, rape their own children, murder their own children. If their child disobeys them, they cut their heads off. I mean, the things that and Islam says that this is part, child disobeys you can cut the child's head off. You can do all these terrible things. That is their brutal, savage culture. They're the cruelest, most brutal and evil people on the face of the earth. Arabs have lived for thousands of years. They live there. The Arabs themselves. I'm not the one saying that there's no Palestinian people. The Arabs themselves said so. They said so. They said. Dr. Philip Khitti, who was their official representative at the Peel Commission, said, quote, "There is no such thing in history as Palestine. Absolutely not," unquote. The Arab ambassadors and the Arab leaders and the heads of the Arab representatives of the Arabs living in the land of Israel said at the UN throughout the 1940s and 1950s that there's no such thing as a Palestinian people. The Jews were called Palestinians. The Jews were referred to as Palestinians, which is a false term even for Jews, because there is no such thing. It's a Roman term. But there were never Arabs living there for thousands of years. That's baloney. The land was virtually desolate when the Jews first came there 150 years ago. There was never a Palestine, and there was never a Palestinian people. There never was. There never will be a genuine Palestinian people, and you can't invent one no matter how hard you try. You can try to impose this lie upon the people of Israel. God willing, they will resist and defeat you and prevent it. But the truth is, there never was and never will be a Palestine people or state. And if one is created, it's completely artificial and a complete lie and a complete hideous distortion of all history. And now, Gani 6A writes, and I quote, "It's really a relief to see so many intellectual Jews around the world and Israeli Jews debunking so many Israeli myths about the story of the Middle East and Palestine, such as Benny Morris, Ilan Pappy, Norman Finkelstein, Noam Chomsky, Avi Schlein, Baruch Kimmerlin, Lenny Brenner, Edwin Black. The extreme right in Israel today, such as in Europe, is very strong, and I, as a Jew, am very worried because the policy of torture in prisons and land expansion, to quote just two, it may lead to the destruction of Israel," unquote. Oh, you're a Jew and you favor the destruction of your own people and your own country. Because the people you're quoting, like Norman Finkelstein and Noam Chomsky, say Israel should be destroyed. These are self-hating Jews that want their own country and people to be destroyed, that support the Arab-Muslim Nazi effort to exterminate the Jews and destroy Israel. And when you're saying it may lead to the destruction of Israel, the people you're quoting say openly they want the destruction of Israel. They want Israel to be destroyed. And you're supporting them. And now you're saying that you're concerned that the policy of torture in prisons and land expansion is going to lead to the destruction. What are you talking about? I mean, you are so insane. You are so unbelievably self-hating, cowardly, ghetto-minded, and insane. You are completely out of your mind. Completely insane. And the only antidote to crazy, sick, Semitic microbes like you, the only antidote are the proud, heroic, self-respecting Jewish heroes of the Kahanist movement. Someday we're going to take power. And when we take power, we're going to take care of traitors like you once and for all. We're going to make this a better world and make it a world for moral, kind, decent, wonderful, loving, compassionate, God-fearing people who want this to be a better world and who want to stand for what's right and stand against evil. That day will yet come. Be'ezrat Hashem, God willing.